What is up, friends? Tonight's episode of South Park was called Let Them Eat Goo, so let's break it down. But first, do not forget to hit that subscribe button because there are 6 more episodes left in this season of South Park, and I'll be reviewing every one of them. Spoilers ahead for tonight's episode. So this episode continued our seemingly full season of Tegridy Farms stories and married it with a pretty recent nationwide craze, the plant-based meat industry, such as Impossible Burger and Beyond Meat. This was actually a pretty ingenious way to tie in the ongoing Tegridy Farms storyline with current events. The episode focused on a lot of the rhetoric surrounding vegan diets and the meat industry in a really funny way. And as a vegan myself, I found this episode to be pretty f***ing hilarious. There are 2 stories at play throughout the episode. 1, Tegridy Farms is struggling because they stopped selling weed to the Chinese, and 2, Cartman is having a really hard time with the changes to the school lunch menu. Cartman reacts so intensely to the lack of sloppy joes in the cafeteria that he has a literal heart attack. Since some of the students really want to try and make an impact on the environment, they all decide to utilize a new company called Incredible Meats run by a real shady old-timey man. He's a goo man, you see, and he works in goo. He turns the goo into meat-like products and he sells them. So the students go behind Cartman's back and start putting the goo products in the cafeteria food, which actually does trick him. While all this is going down, we see Randy and Towley attempting to make a little extra money using all of the swag and byproduct from their grow operation, and after stopping in Burger King and trying an Impossible Whopper, Randy gets the idea to turn the byproduct into a plant-based burger. This was a really funny premise and such a smart way to bring the plant-based meat craze into a Tegridy Farms story. Even though the Tegridy burger tasted like shit, it got everyone super stoned and became the biggest craze in South Park. This is where the A and B stories came together. The Goo Man is trying to monopolize the plant-based food industry, and the Tegridy burger is preventing that from happening. So he has a local cattle farmer drop off all his now useless cattle to live on Tegridy Farms. This leads to one of the most insane, f***ed up, and hilarious sequences I've seen in South Park in a while, as Randy and Towley get super stoned and just straight up murder every cow. The cows were ruining the crops, and so their answer was just to kill them all. Every single episode so far this season has found a fun way to have Randy just lose his Tegridy, though this time it's a shame Towley got caught up in it. But this just showcases that Randy's motivations for creating a plant-based burger were purely profit-based. He had no positive intentions behind it. He was willing to literally murder all of the cows that he saved by creating the Tegridy burger as soon as they became his problem. And of course he gets called out for it, allowing the Goo Man to move in on his business. Butters eventually cracks and tells Cartman that none of the new school meat is real, so Cartman goes to talk to our shady old-timey Goo Man, who explains what his goo meat actually is, which leads to a pretty excellent final speech from Eric, and he makes some strong points. He essentially says that he thought he was being forced to eat healthier, but the goo product is just as unhealthy as the regular cafeteria food, so he doesn't have a problem with it. And if it helps the environment, that's cool too. This really does highlight what I think is an important aspect of this plant-based meat craze. Some of the products really are good, but they shouldn't be seen as a healthier option. They're really not much better or worse for you nutritionally than processed meat. But if you're trying to cut down your environmental impact a bit, swapping a burger for an Impossible Burger or a brat for Beyond Sausage can help. Just don't go in thinking that plant-based guarantees better health. This episode really cracked me up and obviously hit close to home, but it also leaves some pretty intriguing setups for the rest of the season. With Tegridy Burgers now basically a failure because of Randy's lack of Tegridy, they're going to have to come up with some new ways to make some money in the next episode. And the Goo Man has basically taken over South Park's food industry, and honestly, I think that will probably play out in the background of the rest of the season, the same way that the gluten-free PBR in historic Shittypa Town stuck through previous seasons. It really feels like at this point they're going to stick with Tegridy Farms all the way through season 23, but they're still finding ways to incorporate current social commentary. The cow murdering scene was just so insanely ridiculous, it probably gave me my biggest laugh of the season, as messed up as it was. I'm curious to see if any of these horrible decisions Randy is making will ever catch up with him. Honestly, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Sharon separated from him again. Sharon, Stan, and Shelly are totally miserable. Next week is actually an off week for South Park, so you won't see another review from me until October 30th, and I wonder if we'll get another Halloween episode this year. They normally only do those every 4 to 5 years, but the last 2 seasons they've actually both had really great Halloween episodes. And that's where I want to pass it off to you. How did you like South Park's take on the Impossible Whopper? How much more Tegridy can Randy lose? Let me know below in the comments. And if you like this video, do all the liking and subscribing business, and make sure to tune in for my next South Park review. And I got a bunch of BoJack videos next week if that's your thing. Peace.
Johnny to Cellos.